Yes, hello, great to see you. Welcome back to the Kenya Times. It's always a pleasure joining in these conversations. Conversations that not only shapes our governance system, but also the political landscape. Today we are going to focus on women in leadership. What are some of the things that women should start to prepare, even as we go ahead of 2027 general election? And to help me unpack this conversation today is none other than Cathy Irungu. Cathy Irungu is the governance expert as well as the author of the book. She'll be telling us so much about the book as well. In this conversation, remember to follow us until the end. I'm your host, Nixon Njau. Welcome, Cathy, to the Kenya Times.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. I think it's amazing to just walk in and find the energy that I've seen in the room, good energy for that matter. In my office, I work with young people. Wow. And I love working with young people. I support young people. And I think one of the reasons why I feel good around young people is because I started my political journey as a young person. Immediately, in fact, I had started before leaving university because I was actively involved in the national campaigns of 2007, where we were campaigning for Mwai Kibaki's second term. Okay. But then getting out of campus and just joining politics at a tender age, I have come to appreciate the challenges and not just the challenges, I mean even the good thing that can come when you work with young people. So I felt good when I walked in and met the young people in the room. It's just amazing, and this is my first time here, and thank you for having me.
Nice to see you and nice to meet you as well. Now, let's begin our conversation. Someone who is watching you for the first time, who is Cathy Irungu?
So, Cathy Irungu is a Kenyan, a biochemist by training, so I'm a scientist. Wow. Turned entrepreneur, politician, and now author. I'm a community mobilizer. I was born in Nyeri, specifically Matera constituency, a small village called Dimaine. Dimaine. Right. You have to be very careful how you pronounce this.
Very strategic.
It's called Dimaine because we are at the border of Ndia constituency and Madera. So we are Dia Maderaini. So that's why the name is Dimaine. That's where I went to school. Later, of course, I joined a school in Nyeri called Morogoro Girls High School and JKUAT for my first degree, and of course later I did my master's at USIU. But then besides that, I'm a mother of three young children. I am a voice when it comes to, let me just say, women issues, and I would say to a large extent governance issues in this country. I have ran for political office 3 times. The first time I ran for the Nyeri County Woman Rep. That's the time the seat had just been introduced.
That is 2013.
2013, but we had started the campaigns earlier after the promulgation of the Constitution. 2010. Then in 2017, I ran for Member of Parliament, Mathira constituency, where I come from, as I had said. And 2022, I contemplated. I say contemplating because, and I want to believe we might talk about this later, I was ran out of town.
What's up?
By some people. And I thought I needed a safer haven for myself and my kids, a place where gender-based violence was less. So I said, okay, why can't I try, like run in Nairobi? So I came and announced my candidature for the Nairobi Senator. But then, of course, I didn't go very far. I dropped out of the race, after some consultation with certain people.
All right.
Yeah, so that's who I am generally. Currently, I am the COMESA representative for an organization called Ace Health Foundation, which is the mother organization of a global network of women leaders. Majority of them are diplomats, business women, like myself. And it was founded, our offices are in DC, in Washington, DC. And the movement is called ACE Global Leaders of Excellence Network. So basically what we do in that network is that we come together as women to uplift each other. And it's a space that gives me a lot of joy to see myself work with farmers, work with like-minded women in business, and even politicians and diplomats. And it gives you the feeling like I'm leading outside Parliament. I've always wanted to lead in from Parliament.
From Parliament, absolutely.
Yeah.
You have mentioned that you know, you venture into politics at a very young age.
Yeah.
How was it for you?
Okay, you see now, when I was a student leader, and some of the colleagues that I can remember, we had formed the Kenya University Students Association, something like that. And some of my colleagues were Johnson Sakaja, Honorable
Governor
of Nairobi, Honorable Dende Nyoro, the Member of Parliament for Keharu. We were in different universities, but we had come together to form a simple organization where we were sharing ideas and we were all doing politics. Of course, we also had Anthony Kibagendi, the Member of Parliament for Kitutu Chache. We had Martha Wangari, the Member of Parliament. You can see all my friends became members of Parliament and governors.
You'll tell us what happened for you.
Yeah, so we had, in that movement of student leaders, I think it gave me the confidence now to venture into politics. In fact, I ventured into politics before all my other colleagues, before Sakaja, before Dende, and I'm happy that my friends, the people we were with in the student movement, the comrades, basically supported me during my first contest. So I contested the first time. I started the journey at 24 years. But I think I was really, I think I was a novice. I was quite naive politically, I would say, because I was coming from the political understanding that was quite high. Almost boardroom kind of politics,
which
although
is different
from the ground.
From the national politics.
Yeah, because I had been part of the Kibaki Tena campaigns through Vijana na Kibaki.
In 2007?
2007. So nikienda mashinani, I was thinking, niko sawa naelewa siasa.
Okay.
So, but when you go to the ground, you realize mambo ni tofauti. So
things are different.
Yes, so that is when I started. And by the time we were going to that particular general election, I was around 26. So yeah, that's how I started my political journey. 2013. And I was actually, politics, it's actually interesting how these things move. I know you, the younger generation, you're also learning. Do you know how Sakaja was picked to be the chairman of TNA? Do you know?
No idea.
So we were seated, we were having tea.
Give us the insight.
With Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes. And
that time Uhuru Kenyatta was the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister for Finance. And a friend of mine, Director Patrick Ngatia, I don't know whether you know him. And Uhuru just asked, we have a new party here. And the party is called TNA, the National Alliance. Who are the officials of the party? And we looked at each other, the three of us. But Ngatia quickly said, situchukue Sakaja. That decision was made on a sitting like this.
Oh.
So His Excellency said, okay, I know Sakaja, because Sakaja had been with us.
It was somehow vocal that time.
Yeah, because you remember after the post-election violence of 2007, a lot of the team that I was working with in Kibaki Tena were battling, some of them were actually in the defense team because of the ICC cases and everything. So Sakaja was part of the team that was working on the numbers, because it was a contested election.
Yes.
So Sakaja was very crucial. He was helping us with the tally, putting the numbers together and telling us, Kibaki won. And we could all sit down and listen to Sakaja. So even when His Excellency had Sakaja, I was like, oh yeah, that's our guy. So then we said, okay, so who's going to be the Secretary General of the party? Again, Ngatia said, I was ish, I didn't want. So Ngatia said, okay, let's think about it. But His Excellency was very clear. Can we get a Luo? He was clear. If there's someone who is really not tribal, and this one I'm saying without reservation is Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru, you'll sit down and you're coming up with a lineup of some sort. Atasema hapana, changanya. He will not agree, like you put Wairimu, Njeri, he will say, no, bring a blend. So he said, we need a Luo. So we started scratching our heads, and the name that came to mind was Onyango Olo. Right. Onyango Olo was doing some community projects in Kisumu, and he was also very vocal on the ground. So he became our Secretary General now. I've given him that story.
And that is how it all came.
Yeah, so that's how it all started. But for me, I didn't want, I think my mind was really, everything about me ilikuwa Nyeri. So I just wanted to go home. I wanted to go and contest. I had seen an opening, and it was very clear, because we were not going to have a woman rep who is a man. And when I looked around, I think I was too confident.
All right. And considering that now you are going back to the village,
yes,
local politics
yes,
now, and you have a different perception of politics.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you faced, considering that you are very young at the age of 26?
Yeah.
I believe that you had not been married.
Yeah.
So how was it? How was the response from the ground?
Okay, like, you know, the first people you reach out to is family. So my family wasn't surprised. So, like, my dad was like, Shiko, go for it. My mom was like, okay, this stuff, I know what it means. She started praying for me and all those kind of things. But globally, venturing into politics as a young woman is tough. So the first challenge I faced was actually just what I would call, I didn't really have constraint when it comes to resources. By the way, my campaign was well oiled, because I had some little money, and then I had many friends who came on board and gave me money. So I can tell you for a fact, for the first campaign, money wasn't a problem per se.
How much did you collect?
Tens of millions.
All right.
Tens of millions. So my greatest challenge was now where you're asked, okay, una bwana, una mtoto, you're too young. You know, it's like being young itself is a mistake. And people would listen to me and say, unaongea vizuri, na unaongea vizuri. Now you're very convincing and you have a good manifesto, blah, 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 but then you're too young. So I kept wondering, sasa age na leadership, what does it have to do with everything? In fact, at that point, the kind of exposure that I had was way above most people in terms of interaction. So, and even understanding of issues that were affecting the people, because I grew up in the village. So I had a manifesto. The second thing that shocked me is the fact that guys don't have time to listen to you. So I'm heavy worded. So nitataka kukaa niongee na watu. And where I come from, people would say, ni uraria mono. And now when you say ni uraria mono, they are saying, tuchote, tuachane. So,
give us tokens.
Yeah, so just, it surprised me, because you see you're young, and you believe you're educated, nini. Then you go to people, and you realize, this is not what they're looking for. And I think the third one is when my father came home, my late dad, he rest in peace, when he came home, and he told me, now listen, I'm from, you know, you men, you have this tendency ya kupitia kwa mtu wa kupiga viatu rangi. So my dad he was very religious to that one person. We could pass there and anapigiwa kiatu rangi. So he came back home and told me, you know, now we need to have a candid talk. So we sat down with my father, and he told me, Mwai, the guy who he's the one who was doing his shoe shining, kaniambia, you know, Mwai has told me that you are saying too much of the truth, and this is not how to do it. I looked at my father.
This is not how politics is.
Yes, and then the way he put it, because he put it in Kikuyu, so I can just mention it in Kikuyu, but that's what he said. He said, "Mwai yaraje rire odie shukuru ya maheni." So I was wondering, where is this school of lies? Where is it? Yeah, so it was a mixture of stuff. Like you're hearing these things from people, then your own belief system and what you think is right. And then, of course, the worst is what we keep experiencing, gender-based violence. So I will tell you what happened to me very quickly. Madera constituency, where I come from, the people of Madera, and with all due respect, because I love them, we are not fond of peaceful campaigns. even what you see with Wamonyoro, this gentleman from my constituency, is exactly how majority of the people in my village are.
Really?
Yes.
Bully?
Okay, for bullying, he's the bully. But I want to tell you, I want to paint a picture of how, since I was a young girl, we used to have campaigns of Ki and Panga. And we used to call it Shavinavaga. So Shavinavaga would mean that one candidate would come carrying a very huge key, metallic key. Another would come carrying a huge panga. Then their teams would meet katikati. Wanapigana mpaka people would die. That the campaigns of Madeira have never been peaceful. So this is what happened to me. So I'm contesting at the county level, and Madeira is my home, and it is part of the constituencies where I have to get votes from, rather have to campaign.
Yes.
But by nature, Madeira likes, the people of Madeira kind of likes, they're quite overbearing. Let me use it, use that. Yes. And you can see it with Wamonyoro. You see the way he's trying to panga everybody.
We'll talk on
the
that.
same
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
So, Ifre Maina, who was running for Senate, and Rigathi Gachagua, we call him Gachagua one.
The former DP.
Yes. One of them wanted to be governor, the other one wanted to be senator. So they were looking at me and thinking, this girl anakuja kuharibu hesabu yetu. So I became a target of gender-based violence. I was harassed. So, but that time wasn't haikuwa mbaya sana.
That was still in 2013.
Yes.
When you were vying for a woman.
For woman rep. So, and you see, you're contesting against women. But these women their male supporters are the ones instigating all this. Because like, Rigathi Gachagua was supporting a lady called Mukami, the current woman rep for Nyeri. Ifre Maina, we are from the same constituency, was supporting Nyokabi, who is from Udaya, but again, a woman. So their teams would fight me. So, I mean, it was tough, but it is what it is. I mean, it's how we do stuff.
That is how it all went out.
Yeah.
In 2017,
so
when you were vying for the MP seat.
Yeah. So then after that, I came back to Nairobi. I was broke. You know, the problem with going into politics is that you almost become unemployable. All right. Because now people look at you differently. Them hash title and Nanimbaya
must come with a token.
Yes, and then apart, not even people do not expect you to. I mean, you are Mhesh. Where's this Kia? You know, people will look at you and think, who is going to employ you? So I came back unemployable. I'm broke. I don't have money. Nini. I just started from scratch again. Luckily, I got some good consultancy work. Managed to get some money that I believed was enough now to launch my campaign in 2017. So I started early. I had a small baby, a hand, and I went to the villages in Madeira. Luckily, of course, I had name recognition and visibility was there. But the way we started the campaign, it was actually, the contest was between me and the then Member of Parliament, Honorable Peter Wero. So tukaenda. Then Rigathi Gachagua got very ill and died.
And he was the governor.
He was the governor. So, and by the time he was sick in London, it's actually Rigathi Gachagua who was running the show and running the county. Yeah, he was running everything. What
about the deputy governor then?
The deputy, you see what they had done, because I don't think this is something I can advocate for. The governor then, Ambassador Wamadhai, is their cousin. So it was a family affair. It was really a family affair. So Wamadhai was powerless. He wasn't making decisions.
So it was now Rigathi Gachagua controlling the county.
The county. So I went in. Of course, there were rumors. Guys were saying, okay, you know, if anything happens to Rigathi, because he was really ill, and guys knew the possibilities were very clear. So people are saying, if anything happens, maybe Rigathi Gachagua would want to run for the governor. But then he's changed. Instead of running for the governorship, he decided to run for Member of Parliament. So he joined the contest quite late, after myself, Honorable Weru, and Honorable Grace, the lady I mentioned from Kenya, were already in the contest. But the moment he entered that contest, everything changed. Everything changed. Oh, there was another lady also who came late, called Wambura Wamaranga. And
for you were vying with Jubilee ticket? Or
Okay, you see, because of the proximity and the friendship with Uhuru Kenyatta, we were actually again the team that was organizing and doing all these things for Jubilee. Because it was after TNA now. You know, Jubilee was actually a coalition of parties. So I was in Jubilee. I was known. I mean, I had good affiliations. So I believed I stood a better chance and I jumped into it. But as fate would have it, the other 4 or 3 candidates also joined Jubilee, so it became a contest, and therefore the party primaries, we needed to go for the party primaries or nominations, as we call them. Yeah. I think it's the worst time and the worst experience that I've ever had as as a politician.
Shortly before we venture into women in politics now. What happened until now? Rigathi Gachagua won there.
So a lot of things happened, and I remember he even made a phone call to me and asked me, where do you want to run? I said, don't run. And at some point he was even convincing me.
He convinced you?
Yeah, but he was just playing his games. So, but I think he was very clear on who the target was in that contest. The people were like, we don't want the member of parliament who was there. They had issues with him in terms of performance. Yes. The other lady who was also like a front runner, Wambura was also not quite promising, but maybe because of the age, but in terms, because she was about 75. But in terms of the things she was doing on the ground, she was doing tangible work, like alikuwa anafanya vitu. But I don't know why he turned to me as his target. Maybe because for the first time I had the people of Madeira say, we can vote in a woman. We've never elected a woman in Madeira, by the way. So maybe that shook him a bit. And as you would know, he's a very aggressive person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so some of the things that I went through, and it is in the public domain, is that goons used to be sent to my house. One time they almost killed my daughter.
Really?
Yes. They threw stones, and you know, children are weird. So my child was really small, and she was just moving towards.
And who was sending them?
Of course, it is in the public domain. It is known. It's Rigathi Gachagua. I've told him a million times, and he knows I say it all the time. And one time I was actually beaten. You see, what we had said in Jubilee is that if you're contesting, you're not supposed to become a party official. So myself, Rigathi himself, and Wambura Peter, we were supposed to keep off and then allow other people to oversee the party primaries.
The nominations, yeah.
So what we did, because we knew that the Gachaguas wanted to have a grip on the Matters, Jubilee Matters nomination. So we formed the Nyeri County Aspirants Forum, and we now, not handpicking, we chose who our representatives were going to be in Jubilee. I was the secretary to the forum. Gunjiri Wambogo was the organizing secretary. Our chairman was called Wambogo Nyamu. So what happened? I woke up, we met at the Nyeri National Polytechnic. That's where we were supposed to go now and submit the names to the team from Nairobi. Hey, let me tell you.
What happened?
So you see, in politics, if you want to finish a candidate, you set them against people from their own turf, from their own home turf. Okay. So I actually didn't know. So I went, I sat down properly at the place where I was supposed to sit at the secretary. I remember the team from Nairobi, led by Anthony Kara and other people were there. We were quite a number. That time, Wahome Gakuru was part of the Aspirants Forum. So I did what my grandmother used to do. I had the list and I put it here and and I hid it there. So people started asking, where is the list? Where is the list? I'm not speaking, but I'm waiting for the right time to remove the list. So what happened, it's like there's one person who had seen me put the list in here. And this guy was from my village. So he just came, sat next to me. I'm thinking, everything is okay. See, it's like a brother, you know. Where the next thing, a slap. The next thing, now someone is trying to get the piece of paper, the list from and it was very bad.
Right.
You know, I was mishandled, and we still managed to get that list to Nairobi, but it was bad. And all this happened in the presence of Rigathi Gachagua, and he knows this is the truth. Yeah.
And what you have explained is experience on its own in politics. What is your reflection now? 16 years of experience in politics. What can you say? Is politics a dirty game?
I would say this. We have normalized doing politics the wrong way in the name of politics is dirty, siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya, siasa ni chafu. You know, we use all these statements to justify our misbehavior. The fact is, the reason as to why we are where we are today as a nation, and even, you know, the failures in addressing the key issues that bite us as Kenyans. As a mother, I am concerned about education because I know what the education system looks like. You and I are concerned about the healthcare system. We have normalized pettiness and violence and very bad things, and that is why our issues are never addressed. That is why nobody will come and address the issues. We have personalized politics. So mimi nikisimama, I'll say, ebu angalia huyu Njau, mtachagua mtu mkonda hivi. Mnataka mheshimiwa mnono ama, you know, it's so we have trivialized very serious issues. Tell you what, I've got no regrets. Zero regrets. I say, I'm a sum total of the good and the bad that have happened to me. I know I've gone to the rock bottom. I've been depressed. I've been financially, you know, like broke totally. And so many other issues that came with all this. It's the cost that I had to pay, you know, along the way. Now, if my journey can encourage you and these young people in the room to make a difference in Kenya, so be it. If my journey can encourage a woman somewhere to go for it, so be it. But I want to tell you one thing. The worst thing that I regret is the fact that women don't support women. And I say it without blinking.
Really?
Women, especially, women fight along age groups, beauty. Ebu mwangalie, kwa nini amevaa nguo short hivyo?
Yes.
Kwa nini hajiona mrembo? We fight over nothing. And if the women of Kenya decided to support, not just, because you are not going to elect you just because you are a woman, but you could be having a woman who is really qualified. You could be having a woman who can make a difference. If we decided, the women and the young people, those two groups, of course the young people will be swayed by finances.
Let's talk about women in leadership.
Yes.
What you have just mentioned, that women don't like their fellow women to be leaders. What is the solution for this?
The solution is the women who get into these positions of power need to show, because you see, campaigning, contesting as a woman is different from contesting like a man, and we are judged differently. So it is the women who hold these positions, the women in positions of power, who need to convince, at least convince, especially the young people, because the young people can listen, show us that there's a difference. When you elect a man versus when you elect a woman, there's a difference. Maybe in terms of how they deliver, how they do. It is very disappointing. It is very annoying, yeah, when you see that after all these struggles that we have gone through, there are so many women who are now at the helm, and we are not going to mention them, but we can mention them if we want, because I can. And the women at the top have trivialized women leadership. Come on. You cannot be a senator and your work is to talk. You cannot be a senator and your work is to insult. You cannot be a governor and your work is to steal. So these are some of the problems we're having, because watu watakuulizaje hata mnasema tuwachague wanawake. Na wanawake wana tabia zile wanafanya. Did you see a woman swing like this and she was asked turn and turn again? We are trivializing women leadership. Yeah.
And now we have, like, let's say 6 governors, women governors, and several senators, as well as MPs and nominated MPs. Do you think they have done enough to advocate for women in leadership?
Yeah, give it to them. To a large extent, we have managed to increase the numbers. So we have increased the quantity at the expense of quality. Ask yourself, how do girlfriends get up in the nomination list? How do relatives get up in the nomination list? So this thing of having women as, you know, act as pawns in the political system, it's very disgusting. It's very disgusting. And, you know, when I think about the women governors, the ones you've mentioned, I must commend them, honestly. Look at someone like Cecily Mbadi. She's done a good job. Look at the Governor Wanga. It's let's give credit where, you know, for those who deserve. And so we are not going to tell each other, this is how you dress, this is how you talk. But then we can always agree that you're there not just to represent the issues of women, but also to represent global issues that affect everyone. Yeah.
And what about the community? There is a big challenge in the community, especially when a woman come out and contest for a seat. And most of the people, according to the traditional setup, some will say that we don't need a woman leader. What should be done to the community as well in terms of educating them that, you know, women can also do well more than men?
You know what affects us at that level is our culture. I'm a Kikuyu, Demugikuyu. And I can tell you that our Kikuyu culture has played a key role in hindering women from rising and from being actively involved in politics. One of the things that we must appreciate is that culture cannot be static. Culture is dynamic. So even when you look at the roles that I am a wife and I must come home at 5, because politics will make you, most of the time you go home very late. So if you come from a background and a culture where you're told that lazima upike jioni, and when your husband comes home in the evening and can't find home, he'll beat you and then says even there's a baby who is wet here and I cannot change diaper, because the culture says that men are not supposed to do this, then there's a problem. If you come from a culture where you believe that women are dirty and tidy because they had sex or they have periods, and there are some very glorified or very clean grounds that can only be stepped by men, and women are not supposed. You see those things. Part of our culture has contributed in blocking women from accessing some opportunities. When you go to environment where you're told that if a woman is not a mother or is not married, should not address us, you are hindering them. You're hindering women. But then I want to tell you this. If there's something that has not helped us, is increasing the number of women in rooms, yeah? In National Assembly, in Senate, without increasing the quality. That for me is a problem. And the reason is what I said earlier, sexually transmitted seats.
Really?
Yes.
How then?
Yes.
But we see some of the women who are doing a lot of good jobs.
True. In fact, there are so many nominated women, but you know we can count them if we go that route. We can pick a daughter of so-and-so. So I don't know whether those ones we call them familial transmitted seats before we call them sexually transmitted seats. Yes. So you'll see those ones, she's there because she's a daughter of so-and-so, a sister of so-and-so, a wife of so-and-so. At what point did we decide that if there's a husband who died, who was a member of parliament, and we are replacing the husband, then the wife takes over? That's a sexually transmitted seat. At what point did we decide that a senator dies in what is this place called, in Rift Valley, and the wife now has to become a CS of gender, in as much as she does not understand gender issues? We have a problem. But that does not only happen to women. There are men, and we can point out, you know, who inherited seats from brothers. And one of them, a good one, is Rigathi Gachagua. Another one is Kajwang. Sure, there are quite a number. He inherited that power from the brother. Yes. But even the Rigathi Gachagua
did. He contested for the seat and won.
At what point? At what point? I started politics before Rigathi Gachagua. He should not speak when I'm speaking. Yes. And he inherited political power and political affluence from the brother, Rigathi Gachagua, who was a good man.
From where you sit, do you think women are given enough space in political parties?
No.
Why?
No, because political parties are owned by men. Wacha nikwambie, in this country, political parties have owners. Vyama vya siasa vina wenyewe. And I want to ask you...
But we do have parties like PLP, the one that is led by Martha Karua.
What was PLP before before it became PLP, what was
NARC
it?
Kenya.
Who owned NARC Kenya before Martha Karua? We know. But Martha, give it to her, she's been strategic, she's been focused to get to where she has gotten. But also, ask yourself, Nixon, how come we have not been able to include her in the national conversation properly? You know, right now we are creating a two-horse race as we speak. How come you're not mentioning Martha? Is she a lesser leader? Is she a lesser human being? She's a respectable, great lady who has done commendable job for this country. But because she's a woman, others.
She'll be part of the team.
She will be included there, and they'll be happy to have her around. The good thing with Mother is that you cannot reduce her to a flower girl. She'll be felt. Every time she's in the room, you'll feel her energy.
But the United Opposition has said that whoever we will front, even if it is Martha Karua, we will support her to be the president of Kenya.
You want me to tell you the truth? Martha Karua does not stand a chance to be the flag bearer of the United Opposition.
Why?
And I'm saying it plainly from the way these guys are behaving. Right now, it is a contest between this gentleman from my village and Matiang'i, and I don't even know why he's touching that guy. I don't know why he has a beef with Matiang'i. They move Kidogo, then they bring Kalonzo's name in. Have you really had them mention Martha Karua as an equal? It's because of patriarchy. And you mentioned it, is the way we are socialized. So they would want her energy there, Nini, so that in their calculation, there's a woman. Because the gender, even everything that we do, the that gender rule requires that women are included. But also, I would like to throw a challenge to Martha. She's the only woman in that group. We need to see more women in that group, because when there are more women in that united opposition, she will have a voice, and the other women will come to back her, maybe, or whatever it is. When we see more women, it will be better. The problem with women is that if one woman gets to that other side, they want to block. They want to ensure hakuna mwingine. You know, politics is quite competitive. And therefore, even in situations and places where you're supposed to operate as a team, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible because everybody is thinking about their own interest. Yeah.
And do you think that the current political system in Kenya don't favor women?
I think we made progress, let's be honest. We've made quite some progress, and therefore, in future, we are going to see improvements. Even looking back at my own political journey, where I started that time, and the people who are going to enter now, it was difficult. It's better now. It's better. The only problem is that with all this social media, the hype around all we are trivializing. Sasa, yani, it's like, mheshimiwa ni socialite. Hapana bana, mheshimiwa hafai kuwa socialite.
Hafai kuwa socialite.
Hapana, mheshimiwa hafai kuwa socialite.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what will you tell the women who are really looking, to vie for various seats in 2027?
Okay. So I would tell them to go for it. I would tell them to start from the grassroots. Don't imagine that because you have connections at whatever level, especially the ones who are going for elective politics. The one who are going for nominations, that's a different story. Because those ones most of them just hang around the big boys. But the ones who are going for elective, they should be on the ground now. Start preparing your ground. It is possible. There are women. Journeys are different. My journey doesn't have to be their journey. There are women who try first time and get it. Like you mentioned, Njeri. Yeah, Njeri Minor, young, and she got it. So it doesn't have to be like, your journey doesn't have to be like mine, but go prepared that these are some of the things that you're going to meet on the ground. And how do you face them? You face them by, if people fight, don't fight. I've never had goons in my campaign. Again, I've been challenged by my teams. They say, well, endelea kujifanyanga mzuri. Hata we after goons. I've never had goons in my campaign. The only thing I've had security, I've had drivers, such. But I will not hire people to go and disrupt another person's meeting. And for me, it's okay. I don't have to do those things. I'm fine.
They should just play clean politics.
Yeah. Clean politics. I know other women, maybe other women leaders will say, do what the other people are doing. But I think for me, I would encourage that. Just do clean politics. Be you. Be authentic. Because authenticity is what will make them stand out. Like even in as much as I have not succeeded in getting to parliament, I'm an authentic voice and I still have a space globally to do what I'm doing. That's why I'm with you here. So, and at times I say, there's a difference between leadership and dealership. To a very large extent, in this country, we do more dealership than leadership. So where do you want to be felt? Is it possible to make an impact in your own small way? But I would also remind them that do not compete with heavyweight. Okay, and this I know I can be misquoted. I contested against heavyweights, both contests. Because the first time, in as much as it was a women rep contest, the women I was running against were being supported by billionaires, Fred Matiang'i and Rigathi Gachagua. And not for anything. Not because that those people don't know me or we are not friends. No, it's just because of sectionalism. And sectionalism is where you say, if you come from Kiambu, one seat will go to Kabeta, the other one will go to Kikuyu, the other one will go to Kiambu town. Yeah, it's exactly what we do even at the national politics. You say, if a president is from Central, then the deputy will come from the other region. It's the way we do our politics. So if you contest, if you feel that you're contesting against heavyweight, save your money. Save your money.
Save it.
Oh, yeah.
You will not win?
I went to a church one day, and we were buying a vehicle for a bishop, who is my friend, called Bishop Wambogu. And I had just landed from the US. And I knew between me and poverty, the amount of money I could have given in that Harambe was kitu 30K, nikijaribu sana. But the heavyweights in that Harambe,
they were giving millions.
Millions. So I decided, okay. While at the airport, I said, I'm not going to change this money. So I would donate it as dollars. So I went, I arrived, Karatina, AIPCA Karedodo. And I arrived, and I was given a front seat. Next to me was Rigathi Gachagua, and his wife, the one and only, Pastor Dorcas, plus other people. And Nyokabi was also there. Nyokabi gave 3,000, Wero gave 10,000. Then it was my turn. And I was told, okay, the other Mweshima, you know what happens in politics? You have to be very strategic when to speak. And like the way you see people being called, it is always planned. Ukiitwa wa kwanza, now you have a problem. Utalimwa. So most of the time, people who with money or people who feel like they are stronger than everybody, they want to be called the last ones, so that wanawaosha wote. So and that's what happened that day. So we were called, Nyokabi contributed 3K, 10,000 from Wero, then Kathy, it is your chance. They said, hello, praise God. I came with a donation of $200. And I sat down. And guys, some people who they don't know how much that is.
Understand.
Of course, Rigathi in his element said, so I had to, he said, she must come back and say how much $200. And I was embarrassed, so I went back.
The villagers don't understand.
They didn't know whether it was a million. So I went back and said, okay, $200 is about 20,000. So people say, hey, okay. Then his turn came, and he asked, Bishop, you wanted to buy a car. So how much was the vehicle? He said 3-point-something million. And how much have all these people, including Kathy, including Nyokabi, including everybody, how much have they given you? And the parish, he said, I think it was like 1-point-something. So he said, Mama Gachagua, can you bring the balance? And literally, Pastor Dorcas carried a white bag. I've never forgotten. It was like beige or something like that.
How much was that?
About 1.7 million in cash. And brought it there. And immediately the bishop said, we have a leader. He said, please kneel down very quickly.
So the rest of you
a liter of oil was poured on his head.
All right.
And in Nyeri, there's a song we sing. We say, and that what you're saying is, if kama alitoka huko juu, huyo ndiye kiongozi.
Okay.
So I have written a book. It's called Unwritten Political Rules. it has been a journey of about 4 years from the time I started writing this book. And it is about my political journey. What I've given you is not even 1% of that journey, because we are just doing it as an interview, but somehow we've managed to do sneak features. So it's about that journey, but it's my journey. I'm dedicating this book to young people like yourselves and women, and also to organizations that support women leadership. So whether it is UN Women and all those organizations, small CBOs on the ground, you know. And I say this, there's no other better time to launch this book than now, because I feel vindicated by the young people. The fact that I started my politics at a very tender age, I don't want to call myself the Gen Z of then, because that time I wasn't a Gen Z. I was just a young person in my early 20s. And most of the things that I was doing and the things I believed seemed not to resonate with the older generation and the majority of the people around me and the people who were in leadership then. So I'm sharing that journey. It's at times I feel like it has been a painful one, because you see, by the way, when you join politics early, even marriage doesn't work.
Really?
Yeah, because you see,
can't balance between the two.
Well, you know, women in leadership marry opposite. Look at them, and I can give you a few examples. Who is the husband, or who is the husband of Sisiri Mbarire? Who is the husband of Beth Mugo before just the other day? So who was the, yeah, but public domain, but who are they? Most of the time, they are cool, you know, people, kind of you won't see them in public life a lot. And I don't know how that happens. Maybe it is what we say, unlike attract, maybe. So what happens is that even a good girl like the one who is seated here, if she ventures into politics and that young man marries her, watu watamuuliza, we utawezana.
Yes, my director is called Kamau.
Yeah, so Kamau akienda huko kwao Kiambu,
yes,
ataambiwa Kamau niko hikiora hikiria mutete. Kamau, are you okay? Yes. You're marrying a politician. So there's a lot of that also happened in my marriage. And the father of my children, I believe to a large extent wasn't strong enough, maybe. I want to believe so. Plus so many other challenges. So iyo utawezana, you know, the public will keep pressurizing you. And then women in leadership go through a lot of trainings. Like myself, I'm a product of a lot of work that has been done by UN Women, by European Union, by very many organizations, just to mold me into what I am today. This energetic woman that you like listening to. And that journey, men don't have that. So you can imagine you're in Europe, you've gone for an exchange program at the European Union Parliament, then you come back home and your husband was having a tasker in the village and he was told, hiya, mama ati ameenda wapi. So it's the way we are socialized, and we also bring, I think we bring our boys, and I'm sorry, I can see quite a number of young men. Yes. I think we bring our men up in very toxic environments. All right. But we'll talk about that later. So my book also touches on culture, especially the Kikuyu culture. Our culture, we're trying to go back to culture. It's like the religion is not answering our problems. Education is not answering. So what wamerudi kwa culture? So in the process of doing that, we are also encouraging rigidity. We are also encouraging some practices that are actually you know, they pass by time, and we should not even, like FGM. Do you know FGM is creeping back in Central? Yes. Really? Yes. Yes. Through those cultural gatherings, where women are told you are not a complete woman until we cut something. So those things have come back in Central, and have really rocked the boat. Yeah? And the problem is, like I told you, culture should never be static. The moment you make culture static, then problems start from there. Of course, I've shared a story about motherhood and just a bit of my motherhood journey, because you can imagine from 24, all these other things were happening. I was dating, I was running business, I'm in politics, I'm in business, I'm traveling. So it's a combination of all that, but largely, my book is about politics. Yes. You know those things that happen, they happen chini ya maji? Those ones.
Umezifungua zote.
Umezifungua. Right. Some of them are going to shtua some people, and it is okay. Yes. But I've talked about them. And one of the things that I've shared in that book is a story about Moi Kibaki I am a director at Moi Kibaki Institute, and I'm a product of Kibaki, by the way. I'm a product of Kibaki, I always say that. And one time, it is in the book, just one of the stories in the book, and he asked me, after he retired, you know, he rarely spoke in Kikuyu, but he spoke to me in Kikuyu, and asked me, why were you running? He called me Njau. Why were you running? I said, oh, I was running because I wanted to help people. He shook his head like this, looked at me, and in dismay, he said, no, you can't help people. He said, Ado matitaidagio. And I looked at him and said, how can he say this yet? Alitengeneza hii vitu yote. You know, we are proud of Kibaki and the things he did. And for a moment, there was silence. Then he told me, you can't help people. You can only create a conducive environment for them to help themselves. That was profound. That was profound. I wasn't surprised, but by the way, I have built on that. Because I realized handouts, when you give people 200 shillings, 1,550, zinaisha. Yes. But look at the conducive, honestly, the environment that Kibaki created, even the free primary education, some of the gains have been eroded by people who are selfish and greedy. In as much as Kibaki would call us to State House, munapewa andumana, ngwashe na chai. Of course, Uhuru was opposite because we could go there and even have a glass of wine.
All right, because of time, let's dive into now our national politics a bit, then we close up the show. The show has been so amazing. We have seen the united opposition, you know, led by Kalonzo Musyoka and the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. And
let me ask you, why are you leaving my presidential candidate out, Dr. Fred Matiang'i? Why are you just talking about Gachagua and Kalonzo?
Actually, there's also be information, some of the stories that, you know, Matiang'i is being fronted by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Let's talk about that.
And what is the problem with that?
Many people are saying is a project.
And what is the problem with that?
Actually, you are the right person to address.
In fact, before I come to that, because it came from Wamunyoro, let me remind him that he is a project of William Ruto. During the party, yes, let me tell you how. During the party primaries of 2017, the Jubilee Party primaries, King, one day to the party primaries, William Ruto came to my constituency, Madeira. He went to a hotel owned by my relative called Gachagua, met all the agents for Gachagua, and that is how they planned how they were going to rig the election.
How true is the information?
I'm the one saying it. I was there. I saw them. I was shaken. I couldn't imagine a whole deputy president coming to meet my opponents, agents of my opponents, and I knew it's done. So before calling Fred Matiang'i a project, please, Gachagua, you are a project of William Ruto, and we know, and I'm the one saying it. Yes.
Yes. So let's address the Jubilee issues.
Now, so first of all, let's start by saying this. We have, as a party, as Jubilee Party, we have refused our candidate, Fred Matiang'i, to be boxed, to be put in a box called the Kisii. We have refused. We will not agree that Fred Matiang'i comes on board as a Kisii. When the Gen Zs came out on the streets, because by the way, CC, as a party, we just agreed with what the Gen Zs said.
What did the Gen Zs say?
The Gen Zs said that they called him. They said, please come back to the country. He was in the US. They said, come back to the country. We need someone like you to govern this thing. Kenya is not working. Nothing is functional.
But they're also saying they're supporting the former Chief Justice, David Maraga. Okay.
You know, that can always happen because in a contest, you'll have a certain percentage support this candidate. I will not even be surprised if a certain percentage of Gen Z support William.
Now,
do you know it is possible?
Let's
because it's free for all. So
right.
Yeah. So coming back to the issue of Jubilee, Nixon, I want to tell you this, that Fred Matiang'i joined us about 2 weeks ago. He's our member. We are happy. Why we are happy is because we want him to go to the table of the principles of the united opposition as an equal. We want him to go there as a presidential candidate also, the same way Martha Karua is a candidate, the same way Rigathi Gachagua is a presidential candidate. By the way, Rigathi Gachagua is a presidential candidate. The same way Kalonzo is a candidate and Eugene is a candidate. We want them to go to the table that way, but he has because they wanted him to go with the party, he will go as a candidate of the Jubilee Party. What he will not do, he will not be put in a box, okay? And that one we are very clear. And we are saying...
But we have not seen Fred Matiang'i working together with the United Opposition recently in Meet the People tour.
But let me ask you, Nixon, I would also do the same. When he came out and put and said, I'm running for presidency, and said Matangi the 6th, Wamunyoro told him, we are not going to elect you just because you've come up with a photo and written the 6th on social media. We will go to the table. We will go to them. But let them come with clean hands. We will not go to bullies. People were bullying us. No, we won't be bullied. We've been bullied before. So we will go to the table as equals. We won't go to the table when we are small or bigger. We want to go to the table as equal, then we talk. If that is the approach, we are okay. If that is not the approach, we won't go. Number 2, the former president, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, is not part of this contest. He's not. He's not contesting. He did his 10 years. I know some people said he's too young to retire. No, he has retired. And I can tell you here, as his friend, he has retired. And as a friend of the party, he has retired. He has got no business. But he has led us and led us well. In fact, he led together with Fred Matiang'i. All what we have said, within that house that he built, called Jubilee, that is where Matiang'i feels safe. That is where a majority of us feel safe. And he has just given us a home, and we are happy. All right? And while at it, at times we wonder, do people really remember what they have done to us? Stealing our party, removing people from our register. We were even, in fact, to some extent, the people who were in the opposition in UDA, led by Rigathi Gachagua, insulted my party leader, Uhuru Kenyatta. Yeah?
But yesterday you say that was just for campaigns.
Perfect.
No
The reason we need political hygiene in our campaigns and in our Kenyan politics. Anyway, that is how Rigathi does it. And I'm saying it as someone who has contested against him. That is how he does it. He will strip you, he will cut you, he will send you goons, he will insult you. That's him. He will bully you. He's a toxic man.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Of this?
Yes. 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 You see this phone of mine here? I have messages from Rigathi Gachagua to my phone. I've kept them here. Really? So that every time I say these things, if he dare says I didn't, I'll show him the message. I can print them on national, on print and say, this is what he told me. You can be bullying everybody around.
Let's not go to that direction. But
no, it is important.
Let's address now.
We are trying to protect our president. You know, our presidential candidate is calm. He's a nice guy. Kathy, he doesn't insult.
Kathy, recently, we have also seen, you know, some of the opposition leaders.
Yes.
Actually, those one from the mountain, saying that Jubilee is a red wheelbarrow.
Kwanza, why are they calling us a wheelbarrow? Who is more wheelbarrow than DCP? And in fact, DCP is equal to UDA. Gachagua told us, can you imagine? You know, I was shocked. A grown-up, a man in his 60s saying, guys, I was duped. Mimi nilidanganywa na Kasongo. Tukasema, mama ngina anyang'anywe security. And you're even crying in front of us women. Man up. There's nothing like you are told. You did these things knowingly. And please, let him not call us a red wheelbarrow. If there's a wheelbarrow in this contest, it's DCP. Even his members of parliament who hang around him, Akina Medho, and all these other Kina Karungo Dhangwa, and even your friend Jerry, can they go resign? Si waende watoke UDA. Your group, that whole group is UDA. So as we are not a wheelbarrow, in fact, even our former president came out and spoke very clearly, and even said what is not working in the Kenya Kwanza government, which Rigathi Gachagua helped to form.
Okay.
When you guys, the young people, are fighting for the finance bill, do you know he was supporting the finance bill? And I can tell you where he did it and how and at what time. He went to Githunguri because Wamushamba was not supporting the finance bill. He said, "Nyinyi watu wa Githunguri mnataka barabara." I have that clip I can show you. Mnataka barabara. Kama mnataka barabara, mwambie mbunge wenyu apitishe finance bill. At what point did things change? And please, if you change, we accept you have changed, but come with decorum. Respect other people. We are the people who started the opposition. He found us in the opposition. We don't have a problem accommodating him. But afadhali, bro, kuja na heshima.
All right. Now, if Matiang'i is now, you know, the united opposition agrees and say that Matiang'i, you're not the right person to be the flag bearer. will you still be part of the United Opposition?
We'll go it alone. We'll go it alone. If they decide that it is not, and by the way, who are they to decide? Because the people who are going to vote are the Kenyan people, you and me. Then Kenyan people will decide. By the way, if there's one person...
if that happens, Matiang'i will run alone?
But of course, he will run alone. He will just need to get a running mate.
Will win?
Definitely in the morning.
All right.
In the morning.
Your last word to Kenyans. Mambo inachemka.
So, kitu yangu ya kwanza. I will not even address Kenyans.
Yes.
I will address the young people. I will address the young people. The reason why I will address the young people is because I feel them. I understand them. Some of the challenges and the betrayals that they feel, I felt like that before. I know the young people may wonder, why is it important for them to come out and register as voters or even go to the contest? In the last week, we only registered 4,000 new voters.
Absolutely.
You know that?
True.
And even the transfers were very few. Like where I come from in Nyeri, we registered 30 people and one transfer. One transfer in an entire county.
Yes.
So those numbers are very discouraging. So my call to the young people, please, the median age in this country is 19 years. You are the hope. We know your destiny, you feel like your destiny has been snatched from you. You feel like the future is not guaranteed. Show us, we can follow you, the young people of this country. We can follow, and we are ready to follow you. Go register. Because if you don't register and if you don't vote, then you are allowing the other people that you don't like to continue governing us. You see? So my encouragement to them. The other call that I would like to make is, I have looked at how the Gen Zs are organizing, the young people are organizing, and I'm impressed. Continue organizing. We know what you went through this year and last year. But moving forward, don't lose hope. All is not lost. Continue organizing. Continue doing what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, it's about your future. It's about the future of your children and our children and everything else. By the way, I say this as a very concerned parent. My children are alphas. When the Gen Zs went to the streets, do you know the alphas were more affected? Because they were feeling helpless. Like my children kept feeling helpless. Maybe it's because we engage in politics somehow. Or I engage in politics and therefore they are tuned, you know, they are attuned. And if we don't correct this, then there's some anger that is building amongst these young children, the alphas, is going to be worse. In the future, we are going to have worse protests, worse agitations. And because we are capable, the things that the young people are agitating for are not things that cannot be achieved. Please don't lose hope.
They should not lose hope.
Yeah.
There's a question here. Will Cathy vie for an elective seat in 2027?
Time will tell.
All right. Time will tell.
Time will tell. For now, I'm dedicated servant of the people, serving at various levels. I'm a dedicated member of the Jubilee Party and a very strong supporter of Fred Matiang'i. And we are saying Matiang'i the sixth.
All right. That is the word for Cathy Irungu. Thank you for coming.
You're most welcome.
Looking forward to have you once again.
Sure.
That is where we conclude our conversation together with Cathy Irungu. See you in the next interview. Bye-bye.